So today we're going to be addressing the question, what are some of the fundamentals of a healthy relationship? So I want to begin by saying we're going to skip past the initial attraction and the chemistry because that's what probably got you into the relationship to begin with. Let's say we're already in that relationship. How do we keep it going well? So first things first, you want to start off with the vulnerability, because without that openness and just being honest and not caring what they're going to think about what you feel or what you say, that's huge in just getting to know somebody. So keep that flow open and follow up with constant communication. So maybe it's weekly, every 2 weeks, maybe it's monthly, because we all are going to change during that relationship. Each person is going to change at a different rate. So as long as you're expressing how you feel and any plans that change in your head, any goals that come up, any differences that weren't there in the beginning, you want to continue to communicate those to the other person so you feel like you're always in touch. The next thing I would say that's huge is when it comes to arguments and disagreements, make sure that conflict resolution is something that you're working toward together, and it's not always about right or wrong, it's about how the other person feels. And instead of going against each other, you're coming together to focus on a solution to the problem. And lastly, when it comes to your own individuality, make sure that you keep your own priorities, your own interests, things that make you happy just alone. And then also have a column in your life for where your partner has their own interests and goals and ambitions, and where you overlap, that's your relationship, which is wonderful, but you each need to be fulfilled on your own. And if you're a person of faith, then you need a column for you, your faith, and your significant other, so that faith is intertwined with both of you, and you guys are both intertwined, but you also have your own goals separately from one another, your own interests, your own ambitions, and essentially your own life. And then you won't lose yourself to the other person, because once you begin to start identifying as one, even though that's the goal, is to work as one unit and be unified, if you only identify as one person, what's going to happen is you lose your sense of you. And if something happens down the line, and then you feel like you're all alone, and you also don't have your identity. So you always need to remember who you are on your own and with that other person. So I hope those tips help. On a side note, I would also heavily suggest that every couple read Gary Chapman's book, The 5 Love Languages, because that will help you both realize how you best and primarily receive and give love. So each person identifies with love differently, and one person could be pouring out their love in their way to their significant other, and the other person doesn't feel loved because it's not the way that they accept love, and it's not the way that they feel loved, and vice versa. So when they're trying to show love, they may say, oh, I did so many things to show so-and-so that I love them, and in reality, they're not feeling loved. So I believe that's a wonderful tool to use, just a little window inside to help identify each different type of love language. For instance, just to give you an example, for me, it's words of affirmation. So it's encouragement and compliments, but not just physical compliments. It's like, hey, I noticed you really worked hard at that. Like, that was amazing. Things like that. Even if I already know it, it feels good to hear it. And then time spent together. So quality time. So someone could buy me an amazing trip, clothes, shoes, a nice bag. I'm not going to be as excited about that as I would be if you said, hey, come with me and let's sit and talk for, have a bottle of wine and sit and talk for hours. Like, that to me is love. So each person's going to receive and give love differently. So it's super important to just figure out what that is with each individual. So I hope that tool helps as well.